In particular, a comparable kingdom such as the 8 liters children and the assembly of noble elders, supreme embodiments of wisdom and kindness, please give me your attention. This precious doctrine is the source of goodness and happiness, the pursuit and occupation of the supreme higher teachers and disciples, and endure hardships again and again in great state. May this tradition of the late-born nature flourish. Hallowed the shrine of Lama King, incarnated scholars and defenders, lineage be desirous of the deep faith of treasures, meditation deities, Magno, Kamala, Vashasanam, haughty ones of the three classes, assembled deities of the three rulers of the early school, please heed me. Uphold the approach of the Sutra and Tantra and the Buddhist teaching, that our own may be invited to this new country, recognized as the most widespread and far Vajrasamaya, may the tradition of the late-born picture flourish. The magical and symbol of the 3 lines of sattvas embodies each and one Vajras of the regions of all times and places. Like the sun of goodness and happiness over the snowlands, may the tradition of the late-born picture flourish. Concealed by pictures of children, congregations, and great nobles, and dramatic truth and nations, the classes and voices, wrote picture genre, pictures, tennis, teachings. The tradition of late-born picture flourish. Of their own volition, they invariably translated and acquired and gained conviction, while common and uncommon treatises, so first opened the great gate for their appearance in the land of snows. May the tradition of the late-born nature flourish. Those worthy disciples practicing the approach of Sutra and Tantra, and on their own initiative completed all the treatises explaining the techniques and intention. May the tradition of the late-born nature flourish. They are gently born to the great ocean of truly spoken dictates, with the jewels of profound Dharma treasures, unifying the outstanding paths of Sutra and Mantra. May the tradition of the late-born picture flourish. The instituted lineage and tradition that combines the conduct of the incredible abbot from Zahor with the view of the glorious and incomparable Naga. May the tradition of the late-born picture flourish. Through the sublime path of uncommon secret moral instructions, the nucleus of all the 3 masses of profound inner culture and intent, they spark forward by visual understanding of each of the transmission of the Dharma. May the tradition of the late-born picture flourish. The great vehicles of cause, result, and secret matter, complete and accurate, passed down by succession of Vijayaras, with the warm vapor exalted from the mouths of their kings. May the tradition of the late-born picture flourish. The extract of Amrita, the meaning intended by Vajradhara, orally transmitted from the mouths of millions of scholars and siddhas, and sullied by the fabrications of earlier dogmatists. May the tradition of the late-born picture flourish. The dower decorated with golden jewels that is not of corruption. The Dharma is the heart treasured with the kingdoms of its friends. It's lovable quickly as the fortune that follows alone. May the tradition of the late-born picture flourish. The wisdom of the essence of primordial purity has the nature of its radiant spontaneously shines forth, and so great perfection transcends the domain of foolish conceptual meditation. May the tradition of the late-born picture flourish.
completely dispensing with the conceptual approach of exchanged views, obsessed with locating existence as opposed to non-existence. It unites appearance and emptiness as ground path of creation, with the tradition of the late-born picture flourish. The ultimate meaning realized by pictures past, present, and future, uncompounded luminosity that is profound, tranquil, and free of complexity, is the invincible margin reborn of empty awareness, where the tradition of the late-born picture flourish. Extensive study gathers the cause of scriptural authority, defeating outside challenges sparks the electric current of reasoning. The vital Amrita of oral instruction satisfies the heart, and the tradition of the late-born picture flourish. So the secret path of the incredible Ati Yoga, the wisdom kaya in each and every picture is finally accomplished as the sovereign Manjushri Pasha, may the tradition of the late-born picture flourish. The roar of the three perfect abilities frightens the absolute part of the inferior Vedas. The leonine chords of the superior vehicle sounds on the three levels. May the tradition of the late-born picture flourish. At the very pinnacle of the fine bouquet of the completely perfect picture's teachings stands as the peak ornament of the agile heart of luminosity, the exalted victory banner of absolute triumph over all opposition. May the tradition of the late-born victor flourish. High awareness from now on, as long as there are transient beings, shall sustain, protect, and spread the teachings and the completely perfect heart essence of the teaching in all realms throughout space. May the tradition of the late-born victor flourish. In short, with the model lives of scholars, saints, and seers, activity to spread the victor's teachings has pervaded space. May holy bearers of the teachings come to cover the entire world, and so may the tradition of the late-born victor flourish. With the highly stable lifespans of the glorious leaders, and the increasing influence of patrons of the teachings, may the dual victory banner of resurgent secular and spiritual life be lofted, and the tradition of the late-born victor flourish. Begin and directed luminosity of the Buddha reality, the mandala of the ceaseless magical network is complete. Mighty Vajradhara, your successor shielding guardians, send down a great rain from the ocean of supreme and common attainment. Purity and impurity are effective and luminous essence. Samsara and Nirvana are the vibrancy of innate wisdom. The harmonic movements of subject and object appear in every which way. May the reality of Mahamudra become perfectly clear. The quintessential instructions held by mighty Vajradhara and Akanisha, by the venerable Tigo and Maru in the land of Aureus, and by Marpa, Mila, and Lapul in the cold country, may the Kagi Victor's teaching flourish. Keeping all of vital points through the common and uncommon paths, finding complete dexterity through the samadhi of integrated shamatha and vipassana, remaining composed in emptiness while bliss, clarity, and non-conceptuality manifest. May the Kagi Victor's teachings flourish. As concepts, the knower and appearances are one mind. Through investigations of movement and stillness, one resolves that whatever arises is unknown. This is the profound result experienced through examination. May the Kagi Victor's teachings flourish. Appearances, knowing, and thought are introduced as command, and the 6 modes of cultivation work out errors, deviations, and disruptions, condensing the crucial points into oral instructions on how to enhance practice for taking the path. May the Kagi Victor's teachings flourish. Progressing from undivided attention through all of the other stages, one completes the journey along paths of accumulation, shelter, vision, and meditation, and ripens the unified essence within the great freedom of reference point. May the Kagi Victor's teachings flourish. When the subtle and limitless sexuality is purified into the state of wisdom, the eternal and infinite arrangement of the Dharmakayas is spontaneously present in the Dharmakaya of expanse, where a child emerges into the mother of the life. And the Kagi Victor's teachings flourish. The Buddha's power and the kind of this life, as each one's unique of scattering the particles of the coarse physical body into the spaciously extracted and non-dual wisdom of Buddha, and so obtain the ubiquitous miraculous Vajrakaya. Since the Buddha's three sublime ones, the wisdom of earthbound, emptiness, and interdependence are wholly infallible, may they give force to the words of this aspiration, so all the wisdoms are wishes to be accomplished.
Gurus and devotees, please give us your attention. The virtues that we have diligently accomplished on this occasion, so whatever virtues are amassed or exist in the three times, we combine and dedicate to our highest Mahabodhi. From now on until we reach the very heart of enlightenment, may we have good family and clear intellect, be without any pride, very compassionate and devoted to the Guru, and definitely follow the glorious Vajrayana. Matured by empowerment and holding vows and samaya, completing with 2 stage paths of approach and accomplishment, may we reach the level of the Yadaras without difficulty, and easily achieve the 2 types of seeing. Whatever appears is perfect in the circle of the magical network, all that is heard the ineffable sound of mantra. The movements of thought are uncompounded with self-awareness. May great bliss beyond joining or separation become manifest. Impairments, religious concepts, and observations are not rejected, but purified on the spot. Realizing outer and inner is secret to be inseparable creates fulfillment. As whatever appears is innately free in the immense expanse of Samantabhaka, may the lower realms be emptied out, and samsara and nirvana become the same. Kayas and pure realms are complete in great Hindu. Great samaya eliminates the contrivance of accepting and rejecting. Great interpenetration releases the knots of hope and fear. May great perfection down the kaya become manifest. May the blessings of the true lineages into our hearts. May the secret path of the magical network be perfected in our minds. Through the spontaneous effectuation of 4 modes of activity, may unlimited transient beings be free. With the prophetic guidance of a circle of peaceful and wrathful emanations, that continues protecting us like their own children, and Dharma protectors and guardians removing all obstacles, may all to which we aspire be accomplished. May the preacher's teachings spread and flourish, all desired aims of upholders and teachings be fulfilled, and all adverse conditions facing living beings be eased, and may they attain all the wonderful things they wish for. Recitation, separate recitation to the Passion Prayer in 342, Prayer 42. They all bring the hand with auspicious verses. Om
All dharmas arise from causes, all counsels are followed by the Sahara. Their natural association is also informed by the
abounding
in marvelous qualities like a golden mountain. The protector of the 2 worlds has removed the 3 stains. The Buddha has eyes like the petals of a fully bloomed rose. His magnificent, genuine, and complete teachings are known throughout the 2 worlds and revered by gods and humans. The sacred Dharma brings peace to all creatures. Awaiting the holy Dharma, they are rich in auspicious studies, and the Sangha receives alms from gods, humans, and non-gods. The Supreme Community knows modesty and is the basis of glory. Graciously great, the Supreme Preeminent Teacher, Son Lord of Dharma, blessings of which pacifies harmful enemies, mars and all types of hindrances. May their knowledge be the manner of the truth of Dharmata is paramount. The blessings of the Amrita are sacred Dharma, soothes the agony of the 5 poisons of mental disturbance. May the elements of the qualities of Sattva are priceless and their days of glory. The blessings of truth of Bodhisattva's benevolent acts removes harmful faults and increases the scope of virtue. All of these sentient beings who are in motion or at rest, may all of them be happy at this time, because the perfect only teacher deserves the acclaim of gods and humans. I offer homage to the Buddha. All these sentient beings are in motion or at rest. May all of them be happy at this time. Serenity free of attachment is worthy of the offerings of gods and humans. I offer homage to the Dharma. May they be happy at all these sentient beings are in motion or at rest. May all of them be happy at this time. The holy congregation deserves offerings from gods and humans. I offer homage to the May there be goodness and happiness in this place growing up. May the heart of our dedication be happy and good. Whether in remnants on the ground or lingering in the air, may they always hold love toward living beings and engage in the practice of Dharma day and night. Whatever has been spoken so truly and honestly here from the sayings of the victors who triumphed over opposition, may those truths be fulfilled at this time, such as they prevail from all days. On this occasion, may we yogins, teachers, students, patrons, and all others associated with us be free from harm posed by the sun, moon, constellations, and eclipses, and likewise completely triumph over Mara as all that is to be rejected and all negative contrary forces in the most
Podem ver como parte do programa se tiver algumas palestras ou exposições do programa. Nós estaremos então a dar informação neste sentido, que será feito por outros. Isso não são So just following the schedule, there is every day a talk. We'll start with the first one today. Every day we have talk is present. According to Portuguese tradition, there is a common language that could be understood by everybody. Is considered very rude to speak our own language. In this way, somehow, for having direct communication with our guests. So we made the option of having the speech in English, and there will be a translation into Portuguese if there is any need. So, as Tsongkhapa said, all the goodness on the path starts or radiates from the kindness of my own teacher, the source of all good. So I would like to start, if you don't mind, by directing a prayer to my own teachers, and then we'll share some Dhamma reflections together. So, having thought about what could be useful or delightful to speak with you, I really try to look on my own mind. I think that actually I have not so much to say, actually, honestly. One of the reasons is, first, I have no qualification at all to tell you anything about Dharma. And the second is that most of you know a lot about Dharma. So I try to find out what could be really useful. And it comes to my mind a quotation of Guru Rinpoche that says, if you have bodhicitta, any practice that you do will be the cause of enlightenment. And if you don't have bodhicitta, your practice is rotten. So, since we are together to cast aspirations for the benefit of all beings and for to preserve the Dharma in its both aspects of scripture and realization, I thought that trying to remind us together about the importance of bodhicitta may be something meaningful to do. And immediately when I start thinking about it, it comes to my mind that Nyoshukyan Rinpoche, even when teaching tulkus and high lamas, at each 20 minutes he will break the teaching and he advised people maybe we forget our own bodhicitta motivation, and it will be very good if we strengthen and regenerate the bodhicitta. And so we'll stop the teachings, we'll give to the tulkus and the high lamas a few minutes to restrain and remind about bodhicitta, and we'll restart the teaching again. So when I thought about this, such a high realized being as Nyoshukyan Rinpoche teaching high tulkus, I thought, what about me? If I don't stop at each 10 minutes or even 5 minutes, maybe my bodhicitta motivation is lost somehow. So, as much as I analyze, I find out that this is the crucial point of our practice, is to develop this altruistic, beautiful mind of enlightenment. So it's very easy to say this word, bodhicitta, any one of us can quite easily learn to pronounce it. And in my own personal case, it's like a parrot can easily pronounce this word endlessly, but it doesn't mean that I have any kind of clue of the meaning of bodhicitta. So when I try to think how to develop bodhicitta, immediately it comes to my mind, through the blessing of lineage and teacher, the non-draw of Lamchen Niktik, that says that I should develop bodhicitta embraced by the four immeasurables. And I remember also in the Madhyamika Vatara, Chandrakirti says that Buddhas, they're born from Bodhisattvas, but Bodhisattvas born from compassion. So we can say that maybe the easy way to develop bodhicitta is starting to develop compassion. How to develop authentic compassion that is not a mere emotionality. Kind of emotionalism sometimes could be quite tricky and appear of compassion, but don't mean kind of genuine wish, genuine aspiration to free all other beings from suffering, but mainly from the causes of suffering. Then I remember one of my teachers said, in fact, if you don't need so much intellectual teachings about how to develop compassion, you just need to make use of your own eyes. So if you have open eyes and really look to other beings and develop the capacity of put yourself on your own shoes, it's quite easy to develop a sense of compassion. So whenever we see anybody or any being, if we can put ourselves on his own place, we'll feel exactly this sense of urgency to be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. But there are many teachers that will say that even to develop compassion, we must root it into kindness. So basically, even Buddha Shakyamuni himself, he said that those who wish to attain enlightenment, they should not train in many different dharmas, but should train the dharma that will put the Buddha in the palm of their own hand, and this was love. And Father Natishi said that when you meditate in love, truly a genuine way, it's the same than meditate on emptiness. And from an Yigma perspective, we can say that if somebody asks us if emptiness has a core, we must say that yes, the core of emptiness is compassion. So sometimes we are a bit thrilled by some intellectual excitement about non-duality, non-conceptuality, but deeply I start to believe, because I don't have understanding, so I start to believe that through developing genuine love and compassion is the easiest way to achieve realization of true nature of mind. And my belief is sustained or supported by the third Karmapa Rinpoche Dorje himself, a great master of Dzogchen and Mahamudra, when in the Rimay Monlam aspiration of Mahamudra says that in a moment of genuine and true love, the nature of mind unveils nakedly. So I don't have, of course, any understanding or experience, but I can trust in the third Karmapa. So I really believe that if I can summarize my practice to a genuine development of compassion and love, then the nature of mind will unveils into its full nakedness. So the basic point is how to develop this basic attitude of openness to others, and a genuine altruistic mind that even Manjushri, when appeared to Jetsundrapa Gyaltsen, gave the teachings that is called the four, departing from the four attachments, it says that if you have self-interest, you lack bodhicitta. So somehow, an easy way to measure the authenticity of our openness of heart to others is basically to see if there is any self-interest involved in our thoughts, in our words, in our actions. But again, I start thinking, okay, this is very easy from analytical or intellectual point of view, but what is really compassion according to Dharma. Then, as much I reflect, I arrive to the idea, maybe just an idea, that if you don't understand the Four Noble Truths, you cannot really develop compassion. So if we don't develop a certainty, a sense of urgency of being free from suffering, we cannot really relate with compassion. Any compassion that is not based in this understanding of the Four Noble Truths, of course, is a good starting point, but is not the, how to say, is not the seed of bodhicitta. Because as Dharma practitioners, our compassion is not just involved with the suffering in itself, but compassion for the creation of the gathering of the causes of suffering. And I think that's why the Buddha gave this revolutionary message that instead of just trying to running away of our suffering, he said, there is something that we should understand, our own suffering. And of course, in the way of understanding our own suffering is the way to open our heart to others, because it's quite easy to relate with people that somehow we have the same experiences. Like, I don't know because I never went to this kind of support groups, but I know these support groups from American movies. And it's very easy that people get together with people that have the same problems. So it comes to my mind a joke, but maybe in English is a very unfortunate joke. I will resist to that joke. Don't resist, okay. If there is a veteran group of people that will lose their left testicle, the ones who lose the left testicle, they have a kind of natural compassionate empathy for the other ones. But people that never had this issue, they will never have the same kind of resonance of compassion. So, sorry, it's a kind of stupid thing, but my mind is very stupid as I start saying at the beginning. So, anyway, when we don't get afraid and when we don't run away from our own suffering, and we try to understand our experience of suffering and the cause of suffering, it's really the backbone of opening our heart to others. So, without this mind of renunciation, or determination to be free, there is not even the basis for developing the mind of refuge in a genuine way, and there is no basis for a genuine development of compassion, and then no development of bodhicitta. And that is basically the reason why, speaking for myself, I'm so lazy to practice, because I don't have bodhicitta enough. That's basically all of my self-interests are above the benefit of all sentient beings. So even as Jangkong Kontrul Rinpoche said in the Calling the Lama from Afar, even when we are practicing my motivation is so low. Always tired, always wanting to stretch my legs, always thinking for the lunchtime, always complaining about if it's too hot or too cold. And then I can feel sleepy and very, very lethargic. But as soon the practice finish, I feel quite rejuvenated and very easy to get along, have fun. Then all the energy comes back. This is basically because my lack of true understanding of compassion and love. So, maybe to finish, I will ask you sorry or forgiveness by being reasoning in, let's say, loud voice, something that is just beneficial to me. But if for some of you is somehow useful, I will be happy that we can try to at least, before even thinking about being great Dharma practitioners, just be good persons, good human beings. And when we say that somebody is a good human being, we are not referring about his PhDs or his bank account or how successful he was or is in life. When you say that somebody is a true human being, we're basically speaking about his heart qualities. So I think that's a quite good goal, that we are gathered as good human beings, aspiring that the Dharma, that is the true cause of happiness and cessation of suffering, could be kept in this world, practiced and preserved. And I think this is fair enough if we can at least achieve this completely, let's say, compassionate attitude. And through, having the foundation of this basic compassion, I really believe that we can develop genuine bodhicitta and then make our best to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all us, the forefathers of all the traditions, of all spiritual traditions, I may say. Then, of course, doesn't matter. Of course, we consider to have a nice temple and a nice, landscape and many blessings and conditions. But really, I believe in Guru Rinpoche. This Rimay Monlam will be very successful if we can pronounce each word with bodhicitta. And every single word, for sure, will be cause of enlightenment, and not just, please don't taint it, this with our own self-interest. When we say it will be cause of enlightenment of all single sentient being, because that's our true nature. So this is my request for myself, and of course for those of you who think that there is any kind of meaning in this. Let's try just to do our best to really put our understanding of bodhicitta in our heart in the same moment that our lips pronounce bodhicitta words. Because really, I have this fully confident that that Rimay attitude is the manifestation of the fruition of bodhicitta, of enlightened beings, to give any living being a door to Dharma. So for enlightened beings, Rimay is the manifestation of fruition of bodhicitta, and for those of us that are like me, that are just beings on the path, is a possibility of training in bodhicitta. In training, the aspiration of preserving all these skillful means for the benefit of all beings. And each time that we hold any kind of negative feeling to any lineage, is somehow, let's say, cutting the roots of our own bodhicitta. So for us, it's very useful to have this genuine appreciation for every single tradition that somehow is bringing beings to enlightenment. And even in the Vajrayana or Tantric vows, it's said that one of the samayas is that we should not criticize any other religion. Even because in the Tantras it says that Vajradhara will emanate even as non-Buddhist teachers to guide those who can receive guidance from different ways of teaching the path. And even in the Mogapasha treasure of His Holiness Consul Limpa Lama Sang, it says that Mogapasha or Cherezing will manifest as anything that will tame beings. So I think that through connecting with this genuine aspiration, we can really become a manifestation of bodhicitta like these great masters. I will say masters of the past, masters of the present, and masters of the future. I hope that the masters of the future, some of them will be in this room. And that we can become like His Holiness Dalai Lama one day, the true embodiment of Rimay, which is the same to say the true embodiment of bodhicitta. So, thank you for your time. I would like to finish, I would say, taking this chance to also to express my gratitude for all the, I would say, Rimay masters, but in fact I should say Buddhist masters, because it's impossible to be truly a Buddhist master without being a Rimay master. Because Buddha himself, Buddha Shakyamuni, is a perfect example of non-sectarian attitude. And of course, to those who started the Rimay Monlam even in our time, and particularly, of course, I would like to say thank you personally to Tulku Sherdoar, because it was him who introduced me to the Rimay Monlam. and the possibility of now having this gathering in Portugal, but also for those who worked so hardly for the Rimay Monlam to happen in these conditions. In fact, again, I was the most lazy due to my lack of bodhicitta and compassion. And I just cast the aspiration that this is just the seed of a wonderful tree which the fruits and flowers will nourish and embellish the life of so many beings through preserving authentic Rimay attitude in this world. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. See everyone tomorrow. I hope you're starting to get inspired if you weren't already. Many times today I started to cry. One day I won't hold it alone. Like bingo dancing.